Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back. This is going to be a follow-up video to the first one of this jet ski that I grabbed at a yard sale a couple days ago. And on the first video, we tried doing a little bit of homework on it, educating ourselves. Took a little bit of hit on the education, but it happens. We got it running and found a leak, found a busted bolt on the exhaust header that was causing a leak. And I thought that that leak was also causing water to fill into the cylinders, but the actuality of that is I made a mistake and turned the water on, the cooling water from a garden hose on, and it pressurized the system and actually pushed water up into the cylinders of the engine, causing it to hydrolock. And the last video, popped the spark plugs out, spun it a bunch, got all the water kicked out, put plugs back in it, and got it to fire, and it would idle. Doesn't want to rev, but it did idle. And everything seemed okay. So I figure we can move forward and see if we can fix that broken exhaust bolt that is on there and see if we can get it out of there. It's Loctited in. I think it rained. So I'm going to pull this by the garage door, drain some water out of it, and see if we can get some repairs done on it. So without further ado, let's get at it. Alright, so we're over by the garage, got the water drained out of it, and this is the bolt that we're talking about that is broke, and that might be the actual only problem that is with this. If they did not catch that and were not aware of the fact that that broke off and thought the manifold was leaking, then that's definitely where the water was coming in, and maybe my first analysis or opinion of it was correct. So I want to see if we can get that out of there. The last video, again, I screwed up. I turned the water on before the engine ran, and I guess what it allows it to do, there's an inner and outer chamber in here on this manifold, and there's water between the exhaust that's in the middle and then coolant on the outside of it. Well, I guess the level of water when you put a hose on it is enough to rise up. I think this is the way it works. Rise up, come into the exhaust and fall in, or it comes and fills the jackets up in the engine, flows into the exhaust wherever it does it, and back down into the engine. So let's start lightly and see if we can actually get a decent pair of vice grips on that, possibly get that to turn out. I did it quickly before, but let's give it a little bit more and see if we're able to get anywhere with that. Before we even start that, why don't we get rid of the tub in the back in this section right here, gives us a little bit more viewing room. All right, I got probably the newest pair of vice grips I have, but they're small, but they have the sharpest teeth on them. Let's see if we can get that on there and give it the vice grips a wrap with a hammer. Again, they have Loctite on them. We'll try this first, then we're probably going to go to welding a nut on it. See if that'll help us. Try to get as tight as possible. Not sure if it was slipping or. I think it's turning. I'm gonna go hit it with a Sharpie real quick and put a mark on it. All right, now let's go color that straight up and down. Yes. We should get more and more threads as we turn it. Good bite. Okay, only got one shot at it, right? I want to kill it. It'd be nice if the reason why the whole failure is just a bolt broke. The other thing that's an issue that was kind of concerning me was when the water went in, you know, how much water did I push past the rings and the bottom end saw. So I kind of wanted to run it and dry that up. I mean, we ran it for, I don't know, a minute, but I really like to run it and be able to get rid of whatever is down in there. It would pretty much suck if my whole damage is a broken bolt and then I kill it by letting it sit with water in it. What are your chances do you think I have of me having that right bolt? And the Horde, I have a box of stainless. I don't know what grade they are though. There is a there's a boat repair local to us. I don't know if they're going to be open today, but I'm going to go give them a shot. And even if not, if I have to order some, we'll put a bolt in there for now. We can go move forward with testing it. Okay, one of these is stainless. This is why it's good to have a Horde. That's stainless. I don't know what grade they're going to be though. Actually, you know what? We need metrics. This isn't even going to help us. That's not going to be the same. I don't think. Yeah, we'll quickly put that in there, but I think it's a metric. I don't think it's going to be a 3/8. It looks fatter, doesn't it? Yeah. What's that? Off bolt hunting. Look at those toys, huh? Look at that thing. ATVs have gone a long way, huh? So I was able to locate 3 of the correct bolts that go in there, and use just 3 bolts and 1 on the bottom. There's a nut, total of 4 mounting points. So we're only going to put the 1 in, but if 1 broke, possibility the other ones may fail too. And go for the big bucks. Even got a new battery for it too. So let's get that fluid in it, and we'll get that on a charger, and we'll move back to dealing with that. So that's got to sit for an hour before we can start charging it, and probably also the air bubbles kind of come out of it. So I asked him what the torque should be on that, the dealer, and he went out back and asked the mechanic, and the mechanic said, just snug them down. Alright, so we're going to do just that. Now there's a good chance that I will have to go and take this apart. Well, I wouldn't say a good chance. There's a chance I have to take it apart. If I do have to take it apart, I'll at that time order a gasket set for it. But for right now, I have a good feeling that maybe if we get this bolt in there, that's what the leak was. So hopefully it holds to be true. And I want to take this down to the water, and I want to run it, and then we'll get a better idea, you know, watch you see what's happening. And I want to be able to run this engine a little bit and get some heat built up in it, and get it so that any moisture that was in it gets pushed out. So probably the next thing we could probably do is look into the fuel and see what we have for gas that's in it. And I don't know if you have to pre-mix it, but that's the next thing we'll look into too. Do you pre-mix it, or do you have a separate tank that you put pre-mix in? I have a feeling we're supposed to pre-mix it. So if that's the case, I want to grab 5 gallons of gas that is probably from a marina. All right, snug it down. What do you think? Think that's snug? I didn't. And sometimes you have to look a little closer. It's got one broken there too. Good thing I grabbed 3. Yeah, that one might be a little bit harder to get vice grips on, but let's go give her a shot anyway. I tried, but the vice grips are just popping off, unfortunately. I don't know if we have enough room between here and here. It's gonna be hard trying to get the weld nozzle down there and try to weld the nut on, but I guess we can give it a shot, right? It's gonna hurt, other than setting everything on fire. Actually, who says we have to weld the nut on it? Why don't we just try building up some weld on it to make it taller, and then we might be able to grab it with vice grips. It might be a better option due to the location that one's in. Let's give her. Let's give that a shot. Knew that was going to happen. Trying to find something that doesn't have paint on it. It's not in our way. Mousetrap. There we go. All right. Think it's going to twist right off? You think we'll get it? Let's let that cool for a second, then we'll give her a shot. That heat might help break the Loctite loose too. Kind of balled up on this side, and then it falls off the back. Let's try a bigger pair. Sometimes you just need a bigger pair, right? Come on, you beastie. Now we might weld the nut on it. And I got to move a little bit with the vice grips. It's going. I'm going to work on that, and I'll bring you back. Yeah, that worked pretty good. I actually ended up putting a little bit more of a glob on that side to make it elongated, and then once I was able to get the vice grips on it and turn it better. So number 2's out. We'll replace that one also. Not too bad. We got that back in there. You see what I screwed up on? You see it yet? Yeah, I didn't put a washer under there. And when this goes in, it kind of went in on an angle, and it was like a little scary where you're going to strip it, and I was able to pop straight. And then I got it in. What's supposed to be, probably as you're assembling it, you probably have the manifold away a little bit. You start all three of them and then run them down. But I don't want to take it back apart and risk having that issue. So I think we're just going to leave it like that. Again, this may be coming apart again anyway, so we can deal with it then. Or if it's fine, it's going to stay like that for the rest of its life. So through the battery on the charger, I hate this charger. The charger goes right to like fully charged. It doesn't keep power on it. It's a piece of crap. I'm going to see if I can find something else that we can throw on to give it a good trickle charge. So you throw it on 2 and it goes right up to scale and it says it's fully charged. It's really not. It'll take about 5 minutes. See? Yeah, that battery charger sucks. What you get for buying them at yard sales, right? So I went and I got I had a trickle charger or a battery maintainer. I think it puts out like a 1/2 amp. Don't even know. But we'll leave that on there for a while. What do you see? Like you guys care. 1/2 amp, 500 milliamps. Yeah, so we'll let that go overnight. I got some stuff to take care of and get done, so we'll meet back together when this is all fully charged. And it's about 24 hours later. I think that battery should be more than well enough charged. Let's go to get it popped back in the machine. I just threw that battery half-assed in there because it's going to come back out again. I'm not worried about permanent installation. So I want to run it and get some of the moisture out of the bottom end of the engine and bring it up to temp. I want to run it for a couple of minutes at a pop and then turn it off, or in a couple minutes to pop and turn it off if we get that far. Ideally, it'd be good to take it to the lake and run it, and we may do that in the future, but at least I kind of want to burn up some of what's in it now if I can. But the problem with doing that, running it sitting still and running it out of the water, is there is a carbide. No, I forget the name of it. There was a ring right here, a coupler right here, that is like a friction ring, and it gets lubricated by being in the water. This would fill up with water on the inside of it and keep it from burning up. So I'm going to try to do the next best thing, and while it's running, just keep kind of shooting it with water every 30 seconds or so and see if that will help save that from overheating. So without further ado, let's get you in a stand, see if we can get the thing to run, and go from there. Let's see how well it goes. Faster than the first time around, huh? So I'm gonna let that run for a couple minutes and keep shooting it with water. What if the temp will work with no water in it? I'm trying to get it to the gas gauge. Try revving it a little. All right, we'll let that cool down for a little bit. I'm gonna do that several times. And I think we'll be okay. I don't know if you're feeling temperature in. It's cold. I don't think that's gonna be what we're gonna feel on that ring. Yeah, so I fired it up and shut it off about 3 or 4 times now. And the only thing I'm noticing is the RPMs are really high, like 3,200 RPM. And I think idle's supposed to be around 15. Does it say? Yeah, 1,500 RPM. Now, only thing I don't know, I know the pump runs all the time. The water pump inside it is running all the time. I don't know if the drag of the water pump when it's in the water brings the RPMs down. So I don't know if I would want to tweak that yet. It seems like it revs okay. It doesn't have a flat spot that it had before, and you know, more than likely that's from just purging the fuel through it. But I would like to bring it to the water and again have water go through it, and then we can kind of see if we have any leaks in the header leaking at leaving it, and see if we still have the same issues that he had with it. I shouldn't say anything, I'll jinx myself, but it might be okay with what was going on here with the broken bolts. The last time I fired it up, again, I only gave it about a couple minutes in between each run. The over temp alarm started flashing, and I shut it right off. But I'll show you what I mean. See if it'll go. See what I mean? So I don't know if that's normal or not. I just don't have enough of an education on that to know if that's supposed to do that or not. But maybe that's some homework to do. And I feel much more comfortable about running it a few times to go get moisture that possibly have gotten in the crankcase when I screwed up and turned the hose on it before I ran it. So the gas gauge is down there, that little LCD. You see the orange. I'll plug it in. You can see that screen does not light up though, so that gauge is not working for us. But I took a piece of string with a clamp on it, stuck it down there. There was about a half a tank in there, and I tried to do the same for the oiler, and the opening is too small for that, but it does. Here's the rope I used. That's a gas gauge. We still might be able to fix that. I'm gonna look for see if there's any fuse panel on this thing. But the oiler with the light, it's too dark for you guys to see, but there's the oil tank is right there. You'll be able to actually physically see the level on that. Make sure that doesn't run out. I would think it probably has an alarm to tell you it's running low also, but who knows. And the gas didn't really smell bad. I think it's probably got fuel from a marina. So I think we're fortunate enough to not have too much in the way of issues there. I want to see if we can open this up to get to the back side of those gauges. We'll see if there's a fuse panel in there. That was like pretty easy access. We got more. 2 screws on the bottom. Let's see if we pull it down a little bit and take a peek. Oh, look. Yeah, I don't think see anything. What's that right there? You think that might be it's either a relay or might be a fuse panel. I ain't gonna say that that is a relay. Yeah, bee's nest. Little one. What's that? Is that just a connector? Yeah, it's just a connector. Be nice if the thing came with a manual. Don't know if I could chew in there, but you can see the oil tank level. I'm not sure if it's showing up. It's about 1 inch from the top right now. And it does have a sensor. Hold on. It does have a switch plugged into it, so I would think low oil would come up. Gas tank you could see, but I don't know if you'll be able to see the level. Maybe if we clean a spot of it off, it might show up a little bit better. So that'd be worst case scenario. We can just physically look inside there, you know. But I haven't given up hope that we can't fix it. I'd like to find a fuse panel somewhere. Somewhere's got to be a fuse panel, right? And a little more digging. I popped that cover off the back to see what was in there, and that just has the 2 coils and the starter relay in it. I don't see any fuses in there. Again, I can go look it up online at some point, but I want to look more into the idle speed. So there was 2 like boot covers that slide down on each side of it, and they go into the intake manifold, which is pulled away with just 1 clip. But when I pulled this one away over here, that, let's go work the throttle. Shaky cam, hold on. See, that's the stop, and it's the stop for both carbs. So I would think that we should be able to, if it turns, I'll turn that out a little. I'll try it again. But I'm going to go put that intake boot back on and see if we can turn it down a little. And I wetted the coupler again, and it's turned. What would we do? Half a turn? 3/4 of a turn? So we'll give it a shot. Anything out of harm's way? I might have turned it down too low. I think I did. Let's go a half. That's better. It's a 1600, what did I say, 15? There we go. I'd say probably 1/4 of a turn did all the difference in that. I'm going to go button that stuff up. Guys are commenting too that if it has gray fuel lines on it, go replace those because the fuel eats them up and they gum up and they screw up the carbs. Make the carbs run lean, and then the lean burns down the top end of the engine. It does have the gray ones on there. I am not going to do that right now because I have a feeling we're going to probably pull the carbs on this thing in the spring. I don't want to do it now and then wait, you know, 8 months to go put it in the water. I'd rather just do it and have it fresh and have fresh fuel and all that kind of in there. We're still in the primary, are we getting it fixed yet stage. I'm gonna go bump that stuff back on there. I go to the lake. Watch it. You gonna escort me down to the water? Can you pick up the pace a little? Thank you. That's where we're gonna go launch. We may want to get her ready before we dump her in the water, huh? Can you get that strap for me? Save me some. They're all wet. Yeah, it'd probably be a good idea to put those in. Although it would make for entertaining footage. When you guys want to go over that side and get that one for me? Hey, you guys tell me if I start screwing up. We're going to go dump her in the water and see if she starts taking any water on. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you guys didn't fall in. Yeah, that looks appetizing to walk out into, doesn't it? Maybe we'll pull forward just a little bit. It's pretty dry so far. Anything pouring in there other than what I sprayed on the coupler. Let's fire it up. Let's try to fire it up. And get the tether. Yeah, you try standing on a fender with one hand holding the camera. I think maybe we should go for reverse. We'll call that neutral. I have to turn those RPMs up. Could give her a little bit of choke. Yeah, we gotta turn them up. We'll let that run for a little bit. I want to go get my, probably go grab the seats might be a good idea. And my life vest. That's why you always carry a spare camera, because that one went for a drink. Hey guys, you're watching this right now because I lost part of the video. One of the files got corrupted, which was the launching of the boat off the trailer, unfortunately, and about the first 10 minutes of putting around. But we still have footage of us playing on the boat, and we'll get back to it in right about now. So I've been running it for about a half hour. I would say now's a good time. I'm gonna pop the seat off. Seats off. See if we're getting any water. I do see. That's like it splashed up from somewhere else though, doesn't it? I see a very little in there. I'm not quite sure if that's due to me, or I have a feeling it's flinging it out of the ring. That's the part I'm going to say. There's a nut showed up. Not talking about me neither. There's a nut in the yeah, I have a feeling maybe the coupler's probably leaking just a little bit. It's got automatic bilges as you ride. Those two things that with the black hose going to it. I don't know if you guys could see. There's one on each side. As you ride, the flow of the water going through underneath acts like a venturi or a paint gun or a carburetor, and it sucks water out. They're not powered, but they're powered by the flow of the water going out the ass end. That's actually pretty good. Let's see, I think we're still in neutral. We'll run it some more. I did have a card error, so I don't know what files we've lost. Hopefully we didn't lose the whole first half of the video. So let's see. We are gonna need, let me shut that off. We gotta get our tether out of here. Because that's when you fall off. It shuts the machine off. If not, it just keeps going without you. Alright, what are we doing? Fire it up and get out of here. She's stuttering some. See what we got for water. Hopefully Not too much. Yeah, it's pretty good. I say the carbon ring is definitely just a little bit. Not much to be that concerned about. Should be addressed, but it's definitely not going to sink. Whatever little water's in there. Sure wasn't 4 or 5 gallons like it was happening. So I definitely say the manifold was the problem up here that was leaking. That's been cured. That's probably flinging a little bit of water that we see here. I'm happy with it. Would have been a good idea to tighten the plugs. I just threw those in there. Might even change those. Let's go throw those back in. We got a little toolkit here. Just so happens to have a plug wrench on it. Sorry about the wind noise. This camera doesn't have a little sock on it like the other one does. The other one that I washed. Let's see. Yeah, it's looking a little. She's a tad foul. Let's go put these were like plugs that were taken out, so they may have already been fouled before I even put them in. When I was just trying to troubleshoot it earlier. These were the original ones that were in it when I bought it. I just can't see. Let's see if I can fix that. Let's see if we can bend you down a little. There we go. Well, not bad for its first maiden voyage though, huh? Again, I know the carbs still need to be cleaned and the fuel lines changed and the fuel changed. But my goal was just to make sure that this thing was going to function for us. That didn't have any other major ailments. Got up to 56. But again, it's breaking up a little bit. And that might be because of the plugs. I kind of doubt it. I have a feeling it's just going to be the ancient fuel that's in it. I think it's marine. I probably got filled up at a marina, so it probably doesn't have ethanol because it doesn't have that smell. Let's see if we give her one more Yahoo. Call it a day. Alright. The battery warning light. Cameras don't want to cooperate today. We say we'll give her one more Yahoo around the pond. We're still connected. Let's put you up in an area you can actually see something. Let's give her. Got my hat. think that's supposed to be above the bumper. Yeah, let's put a little pressure on it, pull it out of the water. I think the trail is just too much on an angle. Check on it. Yeah, that's better. This was supposed to be on top of that. I think what's the deal there? Something's not right. Somebody got that's over tea kettle, it looks like. Yeah, going the wrong way. Hey, what do you say we pop the drain plugs out of the back and see if we get a bunch of water or not? I can live with that. That was about an hour's worth of riding, so got some work to do on her, but I can't complain for that. We're in it to for 465 so far. And we're back at the house, safe and sound. All went well. Let's go. It should be able to tell us what the top speed that we got up to was. Pop that on there. Go through the gauges. And there we go. 58. I think it's supposed to max out at 61. Again, we're running crappy old fuel and me not knowing what I'm doing yet. So I would say she's still running at pretty peak performance. So that's probably going to be about it for the end of this season. I was able to run it, dry up the bottom of the crankcase, which is nice. I still have to go fog it and do that kind of thing. But we should be revisiting this in the spring. And as long as they don't trade it away between now and then. But I think it's going to be a fun toy for the camp. You agree? You can pull it. It's a 3-seater, so you can pull a tuber on the back of it. It's got the hook for water skiing or tubing, so it allows us to have that kind of playtime at the camp. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to go sign off and shut her down. Thanks for hanging out in the garage and at the at the water with me too. And I will see you on the next one. So until then, bye-bye.